Hey guys. All right. So, yeah, it's about 1:49. I tried to get into this before. It wasn't really working for me. Guacamole really doesn't do it. Celeste, Dead Cells, Donut. The Ultimate Game Pass is probably the most fun thing I've done because I can literally play all these games. Um, on my Note 9, seriously, my controller is a Bluetooth controller officially licensed by Samsung. Uh, Moga apparently is the middleman, and Microsoft. It's a legit Xbox controller. Oh, come on. What did I just do? One night in Tokyo and the madman shooting. Looks pretty good. What else is there? There's a few cute things here. Oh wait, what's this with the skull? Sea of Thieves. Oh, that looks interesting. Oh, it does actually. Maybe tomorrow night when I have more time. Now I just want to get into something that's easy to slip into. Sort of like a gaming negligee and get down for business, and then tomorrow I'll do something else. Yeah, I said that. Savage Planet. Let's see what we have. Role playing games. A Plague Tale. Ark. Battle Chasers. Beholder. Black Desert. Bloodstained. Children of Morta. So yeah, I've been looking at the new M1 MacBooks. Well, the new M2 M1 Pros are coming out this summer. So around June, we'll actually have the full-blooded 16-inch MacBook Pros. And I'm really looking at that and thinking it's like this is the perfect time to jump off Intel again. And in case you've never had a non PC experience, not on a PC, get that? Um, I don't think you'll ever understand what I'm saying. It is quite illuminating and also quite refreshing. Oh, Minecraft Dungeon. Oh, didn't I play this before? This was actually kind of addictive. Let me see. I think I did. We were up all night last time I started this. Okay, forget about play later. Let's play now. Here we go. Yeah, we started this I believe we started this a while ago, and I have a save game. If I remember correctly, we went up to the early hours. The last time I did Minecraft Dungeon, I think we were up for a good 2, 3 hours straight. Something that won't be happening tonight. But yeah, a short while is not that bad. Just enough. Maybe. Possibly. So let's see. Yeah, so okay, there we go. Oh, there we go. It's why am I hey, it's Papa Gaming Smurf, or Mama Gaming Smurf in this case. You like that? It's cute, right? And blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm just waiting on this. Oh, so, okay, here we go. Back in the saddle again. Yeah, it's been a while since we've been here. Ooh, how fun. I wonder what the video's like. Just be quiet, then loads. I'm gonna come over here. Yeah, I won't. Believe me. Maybe. Possibly. It's like sleep. What is that? Sometimes. Alright, let's see what we got here. That looks a bit interesting. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, sleep. What is that again? Can I play this level once? I think I already played this. Oh well, I'm bored. And I just wanted to get on a video before it gets too late. I love the fact this kind of graphics can go on a 5.85-inch phone. Okay. I've forgotten. Oh, I like that. Alright. forgotten how to play. That's wonderful. Um, oh, actually, I don't think we did play this. Maybe I'm wrong. Then we played Tumbler. I guess my stuff. No. I am just so totally bored right now. Is there like oh god, I am bored. How did I die so quickly? I understood this game. It seems like we never understand each other anymore. Alright, enough whining. Get back in there. You know what to do. Oh, really? Like, where the hell? Thank you. My lord. Where the hell? Alright, so, I see what I'm doing. All right, I'm obviously like, oh well, there we go. So right, okay. I mean, it's sort of something to keep the boredom at bay. I don't know what I'm doing on Facebook though. I'm supposed to be live, and I just don't see myself. I see the video has ended, but hold on. So right, I'm supposed to be on here. Don't know if I'm still live though. It's sort of like this corny thing. And thanks for Tim Hunter for reminding me I need to sleep. I don't know why I need to sleep. It apparently is a thing. So right, so uh I won't. Yeah, I know sleep is supposed to be a thing. I'm really getting that, but uh if I buy a harvester, do I have enough? Guess I don't. Oh well, that's like it's cute. I don't know. Oh yeah, look at my video. Okay, that's kind of interesting. I gotta go watch this later. All right, cool. So I'm still on. So yeah, the new Mac M1 that got me like kind of like I don't know in the zone for things. Where could I go? I don't think I should stay on that long though. I gotta prepare. So first class is Saturday. Trademarks. Woohoo! Yeah, exciting stuff, believe it or not. Um, okay, that's locked. I don't know. I'm trying to think here. So right, okay, let's go with yeah, this looks cool. I got it, right? Right. Oh no, it's just there. That's what was oh, I think that's the yeah. Is there any other missions unlocked? Did I ever go? Yeah, I think I went there too. Da, da, da. Guess going back to Redstone Mines isn't that bad. Just one more time in the mission though. I don't want to spend too long on here, but it's kind of cool. So yeah, the new Mac M1, M2 class machines are like perfect. Seriously, Apple off and tell. is just what we needed. And I'm super stoked because as a systems level program analyst turned law student, I do still have some, you know, how would you call it? Recessive interest in my past life as a programmer. Right. So my big thing initially was machine language, and it still does hit me from time to time. So the big thing about machine language is, well, it's machine language, and the most user-friendly form of it is what's called assembly. The thing about machine language is much of it is based off the machine. So let me get, oh, beautiful. All right, I think, okay, cool. So, all right, so like I was saying, the big thing about machine language is, well, the idea of machine architecture. Since that's mostly what it's based off of. So the thing about machine architecture, why am I losing life? Okay, that's a little maddening. I don't know why I'm losing life here. And other than like the fact it's, let's say, so right, machine architecture. Thing about machine architecture is this. Why am I like not only losing life, I got no like damn arrows. Okay, that's maddening. So anyway, yeah, machine architecture. So assembly language basically works off the machine architecture. What you're busy doing is basically turning switches off and on due to machine. As boring as that may sound, it's actually got its own like interest. So right, like I was saying, machine language is all about turning like, well, assembly language, which is the highest level of machine language you can get, is all about turning the switches on and off. Of course, at the most fundamental level, you're turning them on and off inside the processor, but then you also have um, switches you turn on and off for like graphics cards and stuff. So yeah, um, it gets kind of interesting that way. And the nice thing about the way personal computers used to work before Intel and Microsoft took over and basically left everyone into like one environment was if you were system level, you actually had a mainstream with two or three different microprocessors that had differing assembly languages. Well, not so much differing assembly languages, but assembly languages with different machine architectures that allowed you to work with different switches and function them differently based on ar- uh, arithmetic, for lack of a better word. Use um, mathematical terms like XOR, exclusive ORs, anything that would do with logic and math you'll be using. So, um, yeah, it gets quite involved when you get down to it. But the nice part about it is you really get to appreciate the computer you're working on, and I can tell you from experience, Intel machines, x86 even, between AMD and Intel, quite a boring architecture. So before there was this massive like heap ho, it's like everything was different and you could actually get creative. And this is when Java made the most sense because you had more than one microprocessor, especially for Unix workstations. So Digital Equipment Corporation had theirs, and the DEC, of course. Then HP had their own. Who else built their own microprocessor? A number of them. Oh, IBM was all out. I'm not even gonna touch that. Um, so yeah, it was maddening, but at the same time, the processors offered a very dynamic, competitive market that pushed things. And Digital Equipment Corporation produced the Alpha, which was the first microprocessor to reach the 1 gigahertz mark. It doesn't seem like a lot right now, but in an era when most were just like screeching at like several hundred megahertz, it made a huge impact because from there, the micron technology that was used to manufacture it enabled such leaps in advancement that it ended up being like life. I forget. I think it was like sold to, I believe Digital Equipment Corporation sold their processor arm to AMD. No, they did, but I'm trying to remember the particular. And then basically AMD licensed their new laboratories out to Intel, which is how we got the current model, without which none of this would. So, in other words, it was competition that drove it. And the lack of competition created by it has created the current stalemate where we're basically producing higher speeds of the same kind of architecture, which is ridiculous. And I'm standing here. And I know I'm gonna die if I go forward, but at this point, I'm gonna die anyway of boredom. Oh snap! Wait, he just oh, those little track thingies are massively like those things are nasty. All right, so now having a non-Intel architecture to like work with, I gotta run past this. So having a non-Intel architecture like after years to really work with is actually pretty cool. Oh damn. and it'll actually, I mean, I know it sounds like a toy or whatever. You want to consider it, but the thing is, the power of this will be basically that yeah, it's pretty powerful stuff. So this will also give me something to sink my teeth in. I really haven't sunk my teeth into assembly language in like eons. And ooh, that's not good. I just died there. So yeah, actually, oh wait, am I like having a rebirth? Maybe I should go charge out, and I don't know. Ooh, look, my fairy godfather just left me hunter's armor. I should wear that. Okay, and what is this? Oh yeah, it should be. Okay, in that case, I get it. Uh, all right, fishing rod. No, I don't think a fishing rod is going to do it. A sword, maybe. So, all right. So, machine language is actually quite a a powerful thing. Ultimately, um, the whole thing of it is I'm going to die here anyway. I figured I'd just like have some fun at it. So yeah, the whole thing about doing assembly language, I've actually dabbled when after Wintel. That's what I call the domination. If anyone's wondering, Wintel is the marriage of Windows and Intel that basically took over the market and made it impossible for most people to do what they want to do. Okay, so yeah, I dabbled a little in Android. Of course, there were the old mobile phones, mostly that used J2ME or Java 2 Mobile Edition. And most of the J2ME end up converting to Android eventually. It made more sense. Under J2ME, most of the phones had fragmented operating systems. And what I mean by that is they were disparate and a lot of times incompatible. So the same J2ME app would be marketed for multiple phones, but not always guaranteed to work with every other phone. And oftentimes there were compatibility issues. This is where manufacturers like BlackBerry and such earn their name by creating congruent environments in which code could be written with some uniformity. So right, so back to the so J2ME mostly ported to Android, or at least the primitive Android, which would over time become the Android we know and love. Right. And then, of course, J20 would also, I'm not going to say it's a direct path, but it would migrate into other POSIX type phone OSs like, um, there. I can't, I think it was Pulsar, and that would eventually migrate into what we now call iOS, skipping the two biggest mobile operating system. I'm skipping over a lot, but you get the drill. So I've meddled in like machine language for these things. It's kind of fun, but it's not the same. The processors are highly oversimplified, and for the most part, if you're talking about porting to the OS, unlike a real operating system, coding in machine language doesn't have the same benefit as it does for an actual like laptop desktop operating system. So knowing it on a regular OS, like a full-fledged Mac OS, which by the way you can use for a lot more things than a mobile OS. Uh, one being like mobile OSs are fun for a lot of things, but it's a lot easier, for example, to share video from a regular OS. And I get into details about that, but that would be a little long-winded. So let's get past that. So generally speaking, the market is divided between Windows and Mac. So you're asking, why am I going on about non-Intel? Well, generally speaking, the Wintel side of things, which is what I call the x86 family, for obvious reasons, is a convergence of marriage between Windows and Intel, with AMD being one of its biggest benefactors. Outside of that, you really don't have much competition. Um, right. So let's get past that now. So we got a whole bunch of things combining there. So where does that leave Mac? Well, before the Wintel revolution, or the Wintel domination, or the Wintel tyranny, depending on your perspective, um, Microsoft had, well, Microsoft had its own thing, but Apple would run off of non-Intel processors. Originally, it was Motorola. Then it became the love child of Motorola, IBM, and Apple, called PowerPC. I think there was another hardware manufacturer in there at some point, but don't quote me. This actually gave rise to Cell Platform later on, before the abandonment of PowerPC to Wintel processors. Um, the funny thing about that is Wintel caught on so much, they actually had, I think it was a Taiwanese company or something, manufacture x86 processors under the Wintel name. Haha, you want a good laugh. So right. So let's get back to this. So before it, they were like on non-PC processors, which now may sound a little whatever, but it actually made sense. PC processors for Wintel x86, whichever you want to call them, are highly convoluted. There's a lot of unnecessary gates and manufacturing involved. They actually are quite illustrious as far as machine processors go, but they're in some ways over illustrious. So to a programmer, this creates a problem sometimes, because it creates I'll just say the manufacturing process is hard to control. And as such, you get a lot of odd things occurring. For example, you get microgeneration. What do I mean by that? You get, like, within a generation of processors, a microgeneration in which the manufacturing is ever so slightly different, so not to be noticeable to consumer straight out, but it can often produce bugs within the same generation of processors that result in some interesting side effects. Or at the very least, it can like create these really weird micro incompatibilities. So here's my point. So before the manufacturing processors was relinquished completely to Intel land, you had the non-Intel processor families. Non-Intel, non-AMD is what you would say now. And those processor families offered a refreshing um, lineup to this. So here's where Apple is kind of interesting. So back in the day, before all this started, the Macs were, including the processors, were produced under high-end quality control that Apple had a lot of oversight with. Meaning, yeah, okay, Apple used generic Motorola processors, but Apple had a lot of oversight of what they were buying from Motorola. So there was a good amount of quality control, which they not only put into like investing in that, but in the boards they built around it. I know for some of you this is getting boring without the game going on, so give me a second. I'll see what I want to do next. But right, okay. I still don't know how to get out of here. Uh Here we go. So anyway, so what happened with the sorry, the quality control was quite um well taken care of. And because of that, the machine that Apple produced and released would be drastically better than, let's say, if there was no quality control or very little at all. And this is where the problem comes from. So, Haven, oh, there's a game preview. That could be interesting. Sorry. So the manufacturing led to very high-end quality machines. An example is, and I don't know how many of you had these, but there were the original MacBook, like, cool color things. They would like basically a cloudy white mixed with some like really cute stylish color. Like for example, I think I had like a really light cyan powder blue type one, and it was quite well built. I to be honest, I bought that used for quite a discount when I did, and I kept it for quite some time. That G4 ran better than a lot of PC processor that came afterwards. It was substantial, and I dropped that thing from the third floor and picked it up once, and it was like still running like nothing ever happened. Nothing shook that thing. It was a tank. In addition, I once had like a whole like Mac household. I had that. I had a really old, well, not really old, but old enough G3 iMac for my ex who really didn't know the difference anyway. She got on for 3 seconds to look at AOL news and then was off. So for her. That was great. And then I had a G4 Cube, which towards the end, I basically end up taking to one job site I had, and I used that as a router, and I got the money back, which really wasn't a lot. I mean, I gotta be honest. At that point, it was like I got it off eBay for quite a good deal, and it was like one of the really good Mac cubes, and I upgraded it. So when I turned around and sold it for like $75 for a router, which I didn't need cash at the time, it was like, I got my money's worth. Um, and then I also worked at the work site. So as a custom G4 Linux router, it really did its job well, and having a smart router there really paid off. So, you know, seriously, it was worth it. But yeah, that kind of hardware was phenomenal. I mean, that little cube, it broke my heart the day it like died, and then I just sold it as a wild pot. Oh, I'm just kidding. Well, I already told you what I sold as, and it didn't die. It just found another use, which, as far as I know, it's still there being used. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was kind of cool in one way. It made me sad to part with it, but at that point, it was like it was living its dream. It was used to manage network traffic in a busy building. I mean, how many other desktop computers get recycled that way? Not many, but my baby did. All right, so yeah, that's sort of like quality control. You don't get it often. So here goes the deal. Like on Windows since I'll say 2010 to 2012. 2012, probably, no, 2011, I'd say, has been a, well, wait, no, it had to be before then. So 2009. I've been on Wintel for since 2009 with intermittent. Well, no, actually, a lot of Linux uses. I can't see using Windows. It just doesn't like interest me as an operating system. I I never used it back in the day. I always used business operating systems when they were still like competing with Windows. Like you had HPUX, you had OS2. I always use a business OS because, well, I was always like business oriented. Solaris from Sun Microsystems way back. You know, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. And when computers is your business, it sort of makes sense. You use something on it that's made for business, and eventually that ended up being Linux for obvious reasons. It took over where some microsystems left off, and where a lot of the Unix vendors left off. So, and then it had its own like boost to business that like redefined the computing world. So therefore, it made the most sense. And the fact it was modular and you could easily compile for different architectures and different operating systems made it even more preferable, at least to me. So yeah. So how did I end up back on Mac? It's basically being back in college mixed with the fact that my i7, um, my like Intel Portage, which was the last Linux machine I used, finally broke down. I'd say about 2014. And I really, honestly speaking, I haven't even been back on Mac that long. I've only been back since starting college, since like maybe the second year. So yeah, not that long. Before then, I had been on Android, which is basically the mobile version of Linux, and not expensive phone either. So yeah, I really haven't like been back. So I'm looking to get back into something that means business, and that's why a non-Intel Mac makes sense to me, especially since I'm a developer and I can do a lot of cross compiling and see what this works like. In addition to the fact it works well to begin with. Okay, let's see. I left Minecraft. Sorry, I'm really like rage too. Oh, from Avalanche and it. That's an interesting. Maybe. I'm curious. Actually, why does that look like Quake? That looks an awfully like lot like Quake. I'm curious. I should of course go to sleep, but this is me. You ever notice how most of these games are monetized now? There we go, connected to a controller. So right, um, yeah, I'm really looking forward. Honestly speaking, if I that's the other thing, my operating system. My operating system has to be a POSIX OS. I said POSIX, yes, not Unix, not that. So POSIX is a general term. It means any operating system, including Unix, which is compliant or when the ecosystem of Unix like OS, which of course includes Unix. Because if Unix isn't like Unix, what else can it be? And the reason why is it's still like a lot of people want to tout Windows, but really, well, Unix and Linux, which is based off Minix, you're still talking pretty profoundly the business go to. No one wants to risk their like wide area networks, at least on a global scale, to Windows. It's just too much. Um, but yeah, so I'm looking. So if I don't get into that, I would say you find me on a Chromebook, maybe, unless I built my own Linux book. That would be interesting. Actually, that's the other reason I considered the M1. My G4 was originally Mac OS. When the Mac OS became too dated and too tired for me to keep on using, I said to hell with it, and I'm gonna try easy here because I never played this. So when it became too lame to dock an operating system, I abandoned the Mac OS for a Debian kernel Linux from scratch installation. And that doing LFS is the bomb. If you can, because you really get a lot of like cutting edge Linux technology, and you don't have to wait years of, well, in our case it would be weeks, but and you can also customize it for the kernel and the architecture you want. So that was the bomb. And then when I left it, I left in a pretty, I stabilized the Linux kernel to a current release, and I left it pretty much in pretty good condition where it could update for like years, which is pretty awesome. Um, so that, yeah, that's the condition I left the G4 too. And as far as like if I took an M1, M2 system, that would pretty much be my MO. I go with the Mac OS as far as I could take it for a usable system. After that, I would probably be using Linux. And honestly, I gotta be completely honest. I will probably be booting Linux from the beginning. Even this MacBook, which I'm using right now, I'm using on Mac OS, but I do booted into Linux. I have the the HD cam is usable under Linux. Everything is. Um, even this is where I get my thing from. When I do boot under Linux, the keyboard and trackpad work beautifully. It's only on the Mac OS. So this is where I get the idea that this is a software problem. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to solve it that easily, but that's mostly due to the fact I can't get into every proprietary, like, little driver that Apple has for this, and reset it and so forth. I will eventually, but I have nice little like Bluetooth mouse and keyboard, so it's not my main theme. Oh, I think it's trying to tell me. Okay, I'll choose them. Okay, now I'm confused. You have to do something. Uh, of course. Oh God, I really have no idea what I'm doing here. Oh well, it just died, I think. I gotta get used to these controllers, these FPSs. This actually looks kind of cool. Okay, so let's see. All right, turn. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be like a little interesting or so than this game. Yes, I did say that out loud. Um, sorry. Oh, how am I firing without a gun in my hand? I don't get these games sometimes. I'm like, I'm dying? Yes, I am. I need to get the hell in here. Away from that ledge. Damn. Oh yeah, I gotta figure out how to get the audio from this game. I mean, I know how to, but I gotta do it. So right, interesting game. Now I gotta learn how to play it offline, so I can come online and this can be a bit more fun instead of me committing suicide. That might be interesting. I wonder what would happen. See a number of these games. You guys jump off things and jump on things like crazy, and you still survive. Don't ask me how. So right, okay. Back to the M1, M2. So yeah, coding, awesome. Here's the other thing I find interesting about the new like Big Sur. So a few things. One, it emulates the old x86 architecture, macOS apps at near perfect, like in some cases with better benchmarks than the actual x86 machines. It's kind of cool. Also, you can install iOS apps. So I'm kind of confused what the usefulness of that would be outside of, let's say, playing oops, playing certain games that like are only available on mobile, like um War C, for example. Um, right? Last Empire War C, or did I get that reversed? Is it no, it's World War C, something like that. Last Empire. Um, yeah, mobile games like that. Or well, I don't know. Is Angry Birds available for the desktop yet? I think it should be. But I mean, even if it isn't, you could like install the iOS version on the new Big Sur on the M1, and it runs flawlessly outside of the fact no touchscreen, which is why I'm saying I don't know why you do that. Which is one thing I would really be impressed if Apple did on the new MacBook Pro. Like, it doesn't take much imagination. Touchscreen. Almost every PC convertible has had it since 2012. So, not a lot of creativity, Apple, and considering your quality control, you could probably make a pretty kick ass touchscreen. But I think maybe it might be because they lose iPad sales over it. Just a thought. I mean, seriously. Yeah, the MacBook Pro had a touchscreen. Why spend 400 when you can spend the 1400 on the MacBook Pro and get the best of all worlds? Just saying. I'm not trying to like. There's some scary stuff they have going outdoors. All right, let's see if do I want to continue this? I'm like I'm entering that point where okay, so yeah, I'm basically entering this point where I'm like, I just want to get the hell out of here by now. God, look at all these games. We have to get on here more often. I mean, seriously, I could like really go at this and we could have a load of fun. Wow. Sorry. So on that note, um, let me just like right. So here we go. Oh, do I like how is this showing? I'm kind of curious to see how this is showing on the Facebook. Like seriously, it's saying I'm like the live video has ended, but somehow I doubt that. It's like it can't end before it ends. At least I hope not. If so, then most of this video has been a waste. And that would be unfortunate. So I'm gonna go back down here for I'm still on live stream, so I don't know where it says that like I'm kinda confused where it thinks I'm off of live stream. Maybe it's got like another thing going on here that I don't know about. Um, Possibly. So yeah, it's been like a really interesting evening. Yeah, it still says. I don't know why it keeps saying that. Um, but yeah, I'm rest assured I'm probably on here, and wow, this has been a long night for absolutely almost no gaming at all. But a lot of discussion about processors, no less. Do 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 do. When you're young at heart. All right. Oh, there I go again. There goes my face. Hey, how do you like this? I hope it shows up on the video. I really do. I think this is rather cool. Maybe this will be my game face from now on. It's so cute. I mean, I really like it. I know some people in particular are watching this though, but tell me if you can. Well, you probably could. You probably kick my ass in like forever to like Doom forever in like 2 seconds. But hey, what else can you do? Really, is this not a good like math for camera? I mean, I'm seriously digging this whole Smurf thing. I really am. This whole Smurf thing. Okay, I you probably couldn't hear me while I was far away. But I'm really digging this whole Smurf thing. It really is growing on me. Like, this could be a good gaming mask. Like, just put this on and, like, start gaming. And I'll just be here, like, right next to the game. Like, literally. Can't you dig this? This is, like, really cool. Uh, yeah, admit it. You love me. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this. Okay, let's find out if. Right. So okay. Wait, that did end at one point. Oh, that does look good. But what's it like for like the other? See, this is what's bugging me out. So, alright, what I'm gonna do is like, I know what I look like on my phone right now. So I'm gonna go on Facebook on my phone and see what it looks like. Because I'm really like curious. Oh, see, there I am. I think it's about time I do get sleep. Oh no. And I got a Smurf with a Twitch. I'm looking at it right now. That's kind of hilarious. But I still think it's a pretty cool thing. Um, Still have to love me. Really? I mean, at this point, what else? At this point, what else can you do? If you don't love me, I mean, you don't love Smurfs, then what are you, a Smurf hater? Right. So, yeah, it's really like, I'm loving the video. It's like I love that twitch of the eye when I look down. All right, let me get out of here, and I'll like. So now it's like literally just us two. My other personality, the gaming one, has left the building. Peace for now. So yeah, MacBook M1 M2 family will definitely be the bomb. I think. And as for the rest, I guess we're gonna have to see. I mean, only time will tell. I certainly hope Apple comes out with touchscreen on MacBook Pro, but I wouldn't hold my breath on it, mainly because it would take a lot from the iPad. I mean, if you could replace your iPad and MacBook Pro with one new generation machine, it would do a lot. And a lot of people would just abandon both because really, it's like you're buying a MacBook Pro and getting a $400 iPad for free built in. How cool is that? So, yeah, I'd hold off on thinking Apple would put that sort of like investment in it, but one could hope. But I still think the idea of being off an Intel architecture from a programming standpoint, going into like Intel and AMD is rather grotesquely overrated, and there isn't a lot to do in there, which is why most of the coding you hear about nowadays has to do with the web and stuff like that. Because really, what's there to machine code when it's been oversimplified, um, or overcomplicated, depending on the perspective you take. The M1, M2 though, brings us like a non-Intel processor and brings us back to a RISC family, which is something I would really like to like venture in on, because that kind of spec is like pretty awesome. Um, yeah. So I hope I didn't make your head blow up with 00101 because I've been hearing a lot of that lately, and quite honestly, I think it's kind of disingenuous. You never tell anyone who says, well, the way gravity works is like through the fact that an object is attracted to another object based on its mass and is inversely attracted. Remember, we're not saying deflected, but inversely attracted based on the square of the distance between them. Now, not everyone may understand exactly what that means, but they're not going to call Einstein's theory of relativity exactly geekdom. I think we live in an interesting time, a time when the world is dominated by computers, and computer literacy is quite uncommon. Think about that. You know more about a car you don't own than a phone you do. That's scary. In any event, I guess this is me now signing off and wishing you all a good morning. Because seriously, if this thing ain't carrying overnight, I don't know what to tell you. Night. Oh, damn. I said goodnight and I meant it. I just like to do things in order. Almost like ended the live stream before, well, ended the session before stopping the live stream. And of course, it's probably the same thing, but me, I'm obsessive compulsive. I just like making sure to like do little things like this. Like, you know, having my key to lock the door before I walk out, or some ridiculous thing like that. So anyway, I guess mm, I'll see you soon again. Hey, and the weekend is coming. You know what that means? My first day of class. I have trademark law. Oh, that could be fun. We could come up and I could do stuff on that. So it wouldn't be just B01. It would be 01, regulation, 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 001, 01, 01, regulation, regulation. See? We're gonna have fun. Isn't this great? I know you love me. Night. Oh, good morning, rather. Good morning.